Este es un programa pagado. Los comentarios que se hagan en el mismo no representan necesariamente la opinión de JJ Publicidad y Entre Mujeres Radio.
Mi vegana madre presenta Animal Voices Radio, el espacio creado para informar, concientizar y educar a las personas con el trato justo y amoroso a los animales. ¡Comenzamos! Animal Voices Radio.
Hola, hola, buenas tardes. ¿Cómo están? Les saluda Leticia Gamis y mi esposo
José Gamis.
Y pues aquí les queremos dar la bienvenida a su show Animal Voices Radio. Y pues hoy nos visitan nuestros estudios. Bueno, antes que nada queremos pedirles como siempre que compartan nuestro programa porque queremos que toda la gente esté informada o sepa qué es lo que hace Animal Voices Radio, conozcan a nuestros invitados. Así es que mi esposo les va a decir qué páginas pueden ustedes encontrar para escucharnos, porque después dice que no lo dejo hablar, entonces ahora le voy a dar chance de que dé la información de dónde nos pueden escuchar para que nos compartan.
Lo que pasa es que se le olvidó, pero lo que no sabes es que a mí también se me olvidó. Estamos en TuneIn, como YouTube, Facebook Live, Dailymotion y Entre Mujeres Radio.
Así es.
Y claro, en Animal Voices Radio y en Mi Vegana Madre también lo posteamos.
Así es. Bueno, pues entonces espero que lo hayan entendido. Pero bueno, pues...
So for the English-speaking crowd, don't despair. We'll get to the English segment of the show.
Así
because, well, we'll get to who our guest is in a little bit.
Ok, entonces pues sí, como comentamos, hoy vamos a tener un programa en inglés, porque nuestro invitado obviamente nada más habla inglés, pero nos tiene una historia muy, muy particular. Nada más les puedo decir que él es hoy nos visita ¿cómo se dice? Un caricaturista. En español se dice un caricaturista, iba a decir un cartonista, no, pues si no vende cartones, ¿verdad?
Pues quién sabe.
Pero un caricaturista, y van a decir, bueno, pues ¿qué tiene que ver con Animal Voices Radio? Bueno, lo que pasa es que nada más para darles una referencia de nuestro invitado, él es un caricaturista que se dedica a hacer obviamente caricaturas de animales solamente, específicamente perritos, es su mascota favorita, pero aparte él hace este tipo de trabajo, dona su trabajo para organizaciones y compañías que tengan solamente que ver con los perritos, con los animales. Ahorita nos va a platicar precisamente, así es que en español le quiero dar la bienvenida a Sin y a Sean. I'm sorry, a Sean y a un amiguito que nos está aquí visitando. Si ven que me estoy moviendo mucho es porque me está jalando, pero anda aquí abajo y se llama Grayson.
Grayson the dog.
Grayson the dog. Así es que bienvenido, Sean, a nuestro programa. Ahora sí, te paso los micrófonos.
Thank you very much. So, our guest today is Sean Hoy. Excuse me. That's faux pas on the radio. Sorry. I should have cleared my throat earlier. But he is the founder of Hoylarious Studios, like hilarious, but H-O-Y, Hoylarious. And he is a humorist, a speaker, and a cartoonist. And he does a lot of work with animal shelters and all types of organizations that help animals. And it's funny because on the back of his card, he has what looks like to be a donkey or a mule, and the donkey and the mule is saying, not the fat kid, not the fat kid, not the fat kid. And it reminded me of a story. I went to Yosemite years and years ago, and I was much heavier, and I could not ride the horses because I was too heavy. And it was even then it wasn't a wake-up call to me, but it sort of reminded me of that.
Isn't that funny?
Okay.
But it does. But you have to wonder what the horses are thinking.
Right.
When they see a bunch of skinny people, they're probably like, I want to be, that's the one I want.
Yes. So, Sean, tell us a little bit about yourself. You were telling us before we came on the air some of the work that you do. You say that your passion is dogs and kids.
Dogs, kids,
before
animals.
that, welcome to be here.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay?
No, I'm so excited.
Sorry.
Come on.
I'm very excited. Grayson the dog is very excited. He might be. This is his furthest trip. We're all the way in from Mesa, Arizona. If anybody's ever heard of that, it's on the east side. We're on the west
dark
side.
side.
Yeah.
So for if you can't see Grayson, he's down there on the floor, but he is a pretty big dog. He's a pit bull and
Pit bull Roddy, weighing in at 90 pounds of pure love.
He is
He's a cat.
big boy.
He does. You'll get on the back of the couch and just like snuggle with you.
Yes.
So yeah, I grew up with, because you had asked me so animals always been an animal lover throughout. We've always had dogs, different sorts of dogs and whatnot. So my dad got me hooked on having a dog because they always add to the family. They're part of the family.
Right.
Yes.
But that branched off to all sorts of other animals. I'd bring home raccoons, and that's Grayson saying he's trying to get camera time. And Grayson,
Like, what about me?
but yeah, so I was always that person that brought home maybe a bird, and let's bring this. We got to save this. I was going to be a veterinarian for a while, but then
Grayson quiere hablar también, creo.
Yeah, Grayson's like,
Hay que
"I want
poner el
some airtime."
micrófono.
Yeah.
Está cuidando.
that is
está
funny.
cuidando.
He's staring at the bathroom, and he hates lizards. If you guys have any lizards in here, he will run after a lizard. That's his nemesis. Is Wally over there? We call him Wally. There's a lizard that lives right behind our house, and he's on the wall, so we call him Wally. Grayson.
So even the lizards in your yard have a name?
Yeah, I name everything. There's a hummingbird we see every day. I call him Hank. Yeah, he's got a girlfriend now, Ruby. So I like to personify those guys because
They do have their own personalities. I'd never been an animal lover myself until a few years back, and it's funny how our dogs have their own personality, and each one is different, and one of them is a grumpy old man, and the other ones are happy-go-lucky, or some of them are more chill. They all just have their own personality. But like you were saying, Grace is a big ball of love, and
big lover.
Yeah, he doesn't know how big he is. Yeah,
but you walk around. We had talked about this a little bit earlier, but you walk around and he's 90 pounds just coming at you, and then people go, "Oh my gosh, what kind of dog is that?" Rowdy Pit, and they're like, "Keep him away." And it's like, "Oh my gosh, it's such a stereotype."
Yes,
which is it's not true. I mean, the guy's he loves everybody except Wally.
Except for
the lizard.
Yeah.
But it's funny. So when I was younger, you had asked my past. So I've always done comedy. Like I remember in second grade, I used to do talk shows in the library, but I always drew as well. And it's nice because even now I'm doing exactly what I did in the second grade. I used to sell little cartoon sheep for 5 cents for for milk money. You know what I mean? But I remember I would draw and put little faces and stuff like that. And that's how I broke into the cartoon business as a professional in second grade. And then I would do my own Sean Hoy talk show. I didn't have Hoylarious yet. I created that a couple of years ago. But and then that's turned into, in college, that's kind of where I started working with rescues and companies like that. So it's just been a lot of fun.
Where'd you go to college?
ASU.
And where'd you study?
Sun Devils.
Well, we have two kids there. So.
Oh, communication. So
Communication
major was the only one that didn't need math and a foreign language.
Right.
So it was fun. But I was the editorial cartoonist there, and my father was a photojournalist teacher. So all of us kids were born in D.C., and my parents, which a little history here is, they met at the Washington Post. And my dad was a photographer from like 63 to 72 for the White House.
Oh, okay.
So we had journalism in us, and it was great. And then he got a full professorship out here in 1980. So we got in a white station wagon with a cat and drove. It took us like 12 days because we literally had to stop everywhere. My dad was a teacher, so he's like, "Oh, this is where Mark Twain was born." We had to write a report, my brother and I. I'm like, "This is not gonna be fun." But the funniest part about this, and God bless his soul, Alex the cat, great cat. He would driving down here, he would throw up on everything, and we're like, okay, he's our cat. We love our cat. Right. The second we get to Tempe, Arizona, open the door, he ran away.
He bolted. He said,
he left. He's still running. Back to D.C.
He said, "I'm going home."
So, Alex, if you're listening, my friend, we're still looking for you. My dad has posters still. Looking for this cat. I was like, why did he run away then? He could have run away in Ohio, but
no,
he just literally sprinted off.
What month did you move here? Maybe he's like
June.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, his paws got hot.
Yeah, he said, "No, I'm out of here."
Yeah, he's like, "This is way too warm."
That's funny. So how long you been living in Arizona?
Gosh, since we got here 1980. I can't do the math. Went to public school, but it's quite a few years.
Well, I'm with you on that. Math was never my strong suit, so that's why I'm in the food business.
Yeah. That's the way to roll.
Which is funny because I'm sort of the accountant for our business, but I use a lot of spreadsheets, so I don't do any adding myself. But so after that, when you graduated from ASU, what line of work did you get into right off the bat?
This is funny. So in college, I was an editorial cartoonist, and then I was with an improv comedy troupe called the Oxymorons, and I did some acting and stuff with ASU as well. And I did get a one job for 3. So people were hiring me like to do freelance cartoon work. I was submitting my single panel cartoons, so I was making money off that. Plus, I was doing corporate entertainment. But the first job I ever got, which lasted 3 weeks, was with Enterprise Car Rental.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, you and I were just talking about it's terrible at like filling out papers and stuff. And they're like, Sean, you're just not cutting it with, you know, this whole like renting cars. We need to let you go. Like literally they said that. They go, we love you. But they go, but can you come back and host our Christmas show? Our parties. That's what I did. So I've done more of that. So since college, I've been doing what I call corporate entertainment and freelance cartooning.
So you do more like stand-up stuff?
I started with stand-up, but I do improv comedy, more of like I inject humor into people's businesses. So people come to me and go, oh, you got something that's kind of mundane. And I'm like, okay, here's how to use humor as a tool. In the beginning, when I first started out, people would say, oh my gosh, you know, you're a 6'2" guy. Can you come as a 6'2" chicken? We'll give you $300. At that time, I'm like, I'll do anything for $300. And so I would walk around the party or do something. And slowly I would tell companies, I was like, you guys, humor's a tool. Let's use it as a tool where what is your message? Let's just enhance it with humor. Don't think humor is going to save your brand. Add to it. So slowly, that's what I've developed into my company, which is Hoylarious Studios. And so the beauty about me is I can do like 3 or 4 good things. Speaking, I like to copyright. I draw, so I can become a different characters if they want, or if they want a cartoon character, which is a lot of fun.
Now, when you do your corporate gigs, do you focus your comedy on animals, or is that you specifically tailor certain things to?
It's fell into that. Different companies. I mean, there's commercial building people, that real estate places that hire me to do stuff. But lately, yeah, Liberty Wildlife. They called me recently and they said, John, we want to add humor into. Have you guys been down there? It's in Phoenix. It's really neat. They have eagles and they're getting their zoo license as well. But obviously they're big animal lovers. So they said, what we want is somehow to make it more funny because we have corporate people that come here. And so I drew up Larry Liberty like a tour guide, you know, animal. It wasn't Australian. I always think when you're like animal hunter. So I drew him up with a little hat and he's holding the little bird and stuff. And then I came in, I personified this cartoon character I made. And so now they're hiring me to do, you know, come on different events and functions like that and be their host as Larry Liberty. So again, I'm interjecting comedy, but I go there and study as well of what the Eagles do. And so I'm not, you know, I'm not just sitting there going, hey, how are you doing? Pull my finger. It's not anything like that. It's more of a, let's educate with humor. So that's a great example of
so a little bit of a like Steve Irwin kind of.
Yeah, a little bit like that, but a lot more comedic. So I save that for the real animal, I don't want to say hunters, but the real animal experts instead of the hunters. But yeah, no, so that's a lot of fun. But I work from, oh my God, all different. Bravo Tip and Pay is an app company, so I've helped them quite a bit with their. So it's not always animals, but what I do is I work with people who love animals. A lot of dog people. Arizona Humane Society, I just did their telethon this last Saturday, which was awesome. Yeah,
tell us a little bit about how what the telethon is, what the purpose is.
Gosh,
and how people can help.
This is their 19th annual telethon, but Arizona Humane Society is always doing different events. So they got in contact with me. Matter of fact, I had them on my show. I had the Hoylarious show. It was about dogs. So I had them on my show about 2, 3, 4 years ago. And then they started using me for, you know, drawing cartoons and doing different things, hosting and helping with events. So I help answer phones, and then I go around to my people and go, hey, guys, donate. It's a great cause. But yeah. And as Grayson is pulling her around.
Help me.
He might be able just to, is it exitable? Well, can he just roam around?
Oh, yeah. Let me, it's like Grayson is stealing the show. Is it all right if I take his leash off so he doesn't?
Yeah, I would leave it just. Oh, the leash, yeah, the leash, yeah.
No, just this part so he
Yeah.
doesn't drag it around.
Sorry, folks. Grayson is going to be let loose.
Yes. All right, go ahead. You can't open the door, can you? Oh,
Not yet. Oh, he's
boy.
thanking you.
You're
He's
welcome.
getting camera time.
Yeah.
You.
It's funny because sometimes when I'm out and about and a dog will jump on me and people
If he
are like,
pees, I apologize.
I'm so sorry. What's that?
If he pees, I apologize.
Grayson.
Oh,
I'm here.
We're getting the sign. We got one more
Javier.
minute, but it's funny, you know, that when sometimes dogs will jump on you when I'm out and about, and people are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "No, it's okay." You know, I love dogs, and they'll lick me and stuff. So, Grayson, don't knock over any cameras. But
Okay.
we'll be right back after these commercials. Thank you, guys.
Grayson.
Estás escuchando Animal Voices Radio, las voces de los animales por un mundo sin crueldad. Regresamos en unos minutos.
¿Sabías que es posible disfrutar deliciosa comida mexicana sin ingredientes de origen animal? Mi Vegana Madre. Rico, sabroso, auténtico, sin producto animal y con el sabor de México. ¿Te gustaría probar nuestros platillos veganos? Entonces visita nuestras redes sociales en Instagram, Facebook y en miveganamadre.com para información de los lugares en que estaremos próximamente. Mi Vegana Madre, promoviendo la compasión y cultura a través de la comida y la protección del medio ambiente.
Entre Mujeres Radio es una emisora online de JJ Publicidad.
Hola, soy Ana Paola y quiero invitarte todos los miércoles a las 11 de la mañana que nos acompañes en el programa Nosotras las Mujeres por entremujeresradio.net, también por Facebook Live. Mujeres fuertes no son las que se derrumban, son las que se ayudan entre sí.
¿Qué pasa, Rocco? Ya sé, quieres ir al Lugar y Pet Salón a que te den un buen baño, corte de pelo y jugar con tus amiguitos. Me parece buena idea. Me gusta que ahí puedo aprender a cómo cuidar del pelo y el excelente servicio al cliente. Lugar y Pet Salón, cortando el pelo de tu mascota desde 1998. 7901 East Thomas Road, Suite 105, Scottsdale, Arizona. Teléfono 480-636-7087. 480-636-7087. Lugar y Pet Salón.
Ya estamos de vuelta en tu programa Animal Voices Radio, promoviendo el respeto a los seres vivos.
And we're back. So Grayson is still in the show. He does look a little bit like a Great Dane, actually.
Doesn't he?
His head, he's got that bump on the top of the head. But you know, like when we found our dog Rex, he's like I said, a German Shepherd. And people asked us, is he, you know, purebred or, you know? I said, I don't know. He's pure love. That's all we care about. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of times people make assumptions about what, you know, based on their breed or they want a certain type. But I don't know how many rescue dogs you've had or how many dogs you've had. But, you know, the dogs that we have, they're all sort of kind of mixed. And we have all kinds of dogs. And they're just the most loving, regardless of, you know, what, you know, breed they are. So how many dogs have you had, by the way?
Oh my gosh, we probably had like 15 different dogs, maybe. You know what I mean? Through the years and whatnot, like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever read Osho. Osho, are you familiar with it? But he says if we all lived like
Osho.
a dog,
Osho, yes.
you know, if you live like a dog and you watch a dog who's in the now and he doesn't judge, it's like, yes, that, if we could all do that. I don't know if everybody's going to do that, but that's how I kind of like to philosophize myself. Just to live like this dude is just to be accepting.
Yeah, and that's one thing, because sometimes people will tell me, oh, well, what about helping people? I'm like, you know what, to me, dogs, in particular, but animals in general, you know, the animals are not vindictive. They're not, you know, they don't judge. They don't
take things
anything
personally. They don't make assumptions.
No, they just love, and that's it. And like you said, they live in the moment. So,
like he's living in the moment right now. It's like, hey, I am on the radio. I'm on TV.
So tell us, like your cartoons, are they mostly focused on animals? You're just depending on what
whatever the client wants. If I'm having fun and I'm doing it for myself, I always draw dogs. Yeah, more animals. I worked with Arizona, the exotic bird rescue, which was great. So we did our. There's a Murphy, the cockatoo, would pluck himself and things. So we did a whole kids book on that. So I learned a lot about birds. So I don't know if you've ever. It's out in Chandler, but it's called The Perch. So I did murals for them, and they have about 60 rescue birds. So then I had met the exotic bird people, the rescue, when I was painting on the walls. They're like, hey! So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's what clients asked me to do. But if I had my druthers, I would definitely do more animal stuff.
So how many books have you written?
Gosh, I've got about 15 different books.
And what are all those books about?
Gosh, there's a whole series. There's 10 of them of Hoylarious cartoons, which the subject matter can be Western, coffee. I'm a recovering Catholic, so recovering Catholic book as well. I don't want to get too religious on you. I've got a lot of issues and guilt. Dog, cats, sports, business. And then I've got the Murphy book and other books like that. I'm doing a wilderness book with a guy. So yeah, when people ask me, I'm like, oh my gosh, because I love to learn as well.
Yeah.
I love to blend that, and I like to simplify people's messages. So that's another thing I help people with. It's everybody wants everything, like at the business card, they want everything on there, and I slow down. I go, people can only remember 2-3 things. Just put something fun. And I do tell people, I have to admit, I'm like, you guys, if you don't have a logo or if you don't know what you're doing, put a dog in there.
Right.
Put a dog in there, or a kitty, or whatever. But put an animal.
Yeah.
But people love dogs, and if you love dogs, you're gonna gravitate to a dog. You can't lose with a dog.
Right. And when we were thinking about our logo for Me Vegana Madre, we played around with different things, and we thought about a dog, but then we thought, I don't know if that would go well. You know, a dog and food. So we left the dog thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I see that. Yeah. I it depends on the company, I guess.
Right.
That's
Yes.
But
totally,
in Mexico, I had
makes sense.
it was not that restaurant, but I have in Mexico say cocina económica, like how do you say in English?
It's a concept where they have like 1 or 2 dishes, and that's it, and it varies every day, and it's like home cooking, and it's really inexpensive, and sometimes there's not a lot of place to sit. It's just you get your food and you can sit on the sidewalk, you know, because they're not spending a lot of money.
But the name of my little restaurant was Uri. It's Uri was the name of my dog, and I put the picture of my dog, and my uncle say, hey, the people are going to think that it's a food. Dog food. Yeah, no, why? Because I love my dog. I put the picture and the name of my dog. It was a restaurant. Oh my goodness. Maybe.
So to her, she's always been a dog lover.
Yeah.
She's had, I don't know, hundreds of dogs probably. But me, I never was, and for so long she would always say, "Let's get a dog. Let's get a dog." And I was like, "No, I don't want a dog." I didn't grow up with pets. And it wasn't until our 3rd dog that I really just fell head over heels. You know, a lot of people like you, in your case, you've always loved animals, but you did mention you wanted to be a vet. What, you just kind of...
Yeah, until like the 4th grade.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, you need all that education? I'll just try to be funny. That's Hoylarious. That's what Hoylarious is. I'm like, I'll be Hoylarious. Yeah.
So what else do you do? You say it's Hoylarious Studio. Do you have like a recording studio?
I don't do any recording though. Like I have done radio, but it's been at a facility like this. But studios, when I say that, it encompasses. I've got my art board. I draw there. Do a lot of copywriting, all sorts of. I do my creative stuff at my studio.
So how many animal organizations do you normally work with a year? Do you have a certain number that call you back every year?
I don't know, maybe 4, 5, 8. It really depends. I mean, some people need something just for now, and then they're like, Sean, can you do this for us? And some of it's ongoing. Arizona Humane Society's been ongoing. The bird people, that's been ongoing. So it really varies of what their needs are. And then I have some rescues that just call and say, hey, Sean, can you MC this event? Can you host it for us? And I'm like, okay. So I did a bikers and bow wow for Valley Dogs, which was a lot of fun. So I drew their little logo, a little dog on a Harley. That was fun. Yeah. So then I did that, and then I hosted the event. So it really, really varies.
So when you do these events, is it mostly to raise funds for the organization? Where's awareness?
Exactly.
Is that?
Yeah, more for funds. And normally they'll get, like I said, I'll help them find some music people, and then I'll help them coordinate the event, because I've done so many different events where what works and what doesn't work, and it's all emphasis on the dog. So there are rescues that are like, all right, we want music, it's gonna be great. I'm like, well, take a deep breath. God bless music, but dogs are the primary thing. You don't want to just have everybody showing up for a concert and then you don't. Have background music, and then make the dog, and then have fashion shows with the dogs and things like that. So yeah. So I try to help on that regard, and then I help get sponsors and whatnot. That's key. Sponsors are key.
Yes.
We all know that. They're our bread and butter. I mean, it'd be nice to do all, be La La Land and draw and just sit everywhere, but yeah, you gotta make money.
Right.
You gotta monetize everything, and that's why rescues. I was doing my Hoylarious show for 2 years, and the reason I was doing it before that, I did my Hoylarious show. Radio show, and I had a lot of musicians on, which was great. It was fun. But some people wouldn't talk. You guys know that. I'm probably talking too much. But then there's people that, you have them as guests and they're just looking at you like, hello. But I found if you ask about their dogs, like, well, what about your dog Benji? And they're like, oh my God, I love that. And they just won't stop talking. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do the Hoylarious show with some musicians on there as well. Yeah. And that's what turned into my dog show. So it was all dog people. It was great. That was fun.
What are some of the funniest dog stories you've heard?
You know, there wasn't this as funny dog stories, but just remarkable dog stories. I had Amy Van Dyken. Are you guys familiar with her? She was an Olympian, paralyzed probably about 2, 3, 4 years ago. And she had a dog, Kuma. And she had Kuma before her accident. And Kuma was I believe, a golden lab. And she brought Kuma in and things like that. But the amazing part about all that is she wasn't a trained therapy dog, but she turned into one. After she saw her in the bed and things like that, she literally just innately turned into a therapy dog. And I thought that was the neatest story. Yeah, I had another guy on there, Steve Welker, who turned blind, I think when he was about 32. He's probably about 50 right now. And he has this dog, Orbit. And they're like, it's incredible. I mean, I was just watching them walk around the building. He was before we taped our segment. And it was incredible how in unison they were. You know, they're like, and it was almost like husband and wife too. You know what I mean? He'd be like, and then you know, Orbit would look at him like, well, I don't want to do that. It was, I don't know. So yeah, those kind of stories I just think are remarkable.
Even the name is funny, Orbit. It just
Orbit the dog. Isn't that a great name?
It is.
He's this big, one of the big poodles, the standard big. Dude, black dude. Orbit.
Yeah.
Like, what? Why not Eclipse? You know?
Yeah, and sometimes it's weird how in tune they get with you. You don't necessarily in tune to them; they're just in tune to you. It's just kind of like you know, like the lab that just instinctively knew to take on that role to help her out, and you know, hey Grayson,
yeah, he's like Grayson Peaks. But I think we all have that in us as well. That's what I think is we deny a lot of that stuff that we have. A lot of the things that dogs do have instinctually. If you go with your gut instincts, you know, dogs just do that.
Yeah.
Because they don't have all that clutter in their brain.
They don't have.
Grayson.
They're not worried about bills. They're not worried about.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Grayson has got these. He's licking now.
Okay. All right. You want some?
Grace.
Yeah.
Boy.
Okay.
All right.
Here you go.
So how long you were telling us about Grayson? Tell us where you got him from.
You guys, Grayson we got from One Dog, Arizona, and our German Shepherd had passed Fiona at 5 years old. Great dog. She was from Halo. She's another rescue dog. German Shepherd, great. We played the night before. Healthy. Woke up in the morning and she had passed in her kennel. Not sure exactly what happened, but she was healthy.
Yeah.
So anyway, you know, you go through that grieving, you lose, and we have another dog, Pickles, who is a blind boxer pit mix. So she kind of wanted to be on her own anyway. And then you could tell she got lonely. So about 4 or 5 months later, my girlfriend found Grayson online, mangy. He weighs 90 pounds right now. He was probably about 50 pounds. Just looked terrible.
Yeah.
Not a good looking dog. I was like, and she showed me the picture. He had a bow tie on. And I was like, Grayson. And I was like, no, I do not want an ugly dog. You know what I mean? Because I'm all about like appearance, you know? So we went and got him, and he was left in a backyard for 3 weeks. People left. If you can see the big scar on his neck, that's a rope. And luckily the lady next door saw him and heard him and went and got him and brought him to the rescue. So I've had him for about 1.5 years. He's gained about 45 pounds.
He's a big boy.
He doesn't miss a meal. And we go everywhere together, which is fun.
Yeah, and I, you know, same thing with our dog Rex. When we found him, he was just in a parking lot of a Fry's. You know, I don't know what happened, and he was bit. He was skinny. He looked like he'd been in a scuffle with a couple of dogs, and you know, and I didn't even want him. I was like, no. We already got 2 dogs. That's all we need. I don't want him. We're gonna find him a home. Yeah. But he won me over. He was just the sweetest. Loyal, and I walked him home from the Fry's because he wouldn't get in the car. He was scared. So I walked him home, and I think that just bonded him to me. What happened?
1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute. Oh, sorry. Losing track of time. Just talking about dogs. I could talk all day about our dogs. So, well, what we'll do is we'll come back. That way we don't get cut off halfway through the story. We'll be back in a little bit.
Al volver, más historias animalistas. No te despegues, estás en Animal Voices Radio.
¿Sabías que es posible disfrutar deliciosa comida mexicana sin ingredientes de origen animal? Mi Vegana Madre. Rico, sabroso, auténtico, sin producto animal y con el sabor de México. ¿Te gustaría probar nuestros platillos veganos? Entonces visita nuestras redes sociales en Instagram, Facebook y en miveganamadre.com para información de los lugares en que estaremos próximamente. Mi Vegana Madre, promoviendo la compasión y cultura a través de la comida y la protección del medio ambiente.
Hola, mi nombre es Iván Lugo y quiero invitarlos a mi nueva aventura que se llama Rojo Radio A Flavor Adventure. Hablaremos de todas esas historias que tienen que ver con la comida, todos los miércoles de 6 a 7, aquí en entremujeresradio.net.
Lo mejor de la radio en internet. Entre Mujeres Radio.
¿Qué pasa, Rocco? Ya sé, quieres ir al Lugar y Pet Salón a que te den un buen baño, corte de pelo y jugar con tus amiguitos. Me parece buena idea. Me gusta que ahí puedo aprender a cómo cuidar del pelo y el excelente servicio al cliente. Lugar y Pet Salón, cortando el pelo de tu mascota desde 1998. 7901 East Thomas Road, Suite 105, Scottsdale, Arizona. Teléfono 480-636-7087. 480-636-7087. Lugar y Pet Salón.
Ya estamos de vuelta en tu programa Animal Voices Radio, promoviendo el respeto a los seres vivos.
All right, so we're back and we have some more stories. We're talking about Linda a little bit. She passed away a year ago in February, and I had no idea how painful that would be. I'd never lost an animal before, and I still get sad, and I cried for months. I really was not expecting that. It's almost done, Grayson. I think, is this the third segment? Last segment? No, third segment. Okay, hang in there, Grayson.
I didn't realize that you would be so, like, sad from that, or?
Yeah, I mean, and it was unexpected. Same thing. I went in the backyard, and she was, like, having trouble breathing. It looked like she had maybe gotten stung by something. And she stopped breathing, and she started turning purple, and I started doing like chest compressions on her, and she kind of came back. But by the time we got to the emergency clinic, she was gone, and it was just, I mean, I can talk about it just barely now.
Yeah.
But I always, once I started getting really attached to our dogs, and I thought, well, it's gonna happen, but I don't think anything really prepares you for it, and we just, I could not believe how much I cried. I just cried and cried and cried, and then we would just stop, and both of us would be sitting in the kitchen, and we'd just start crying, and it was heartbreaking, and I'd never experienced that before. So so when I see posts and things like that, I'm like, oh, I know how you
know how you can empathize. You're just like, oh my God, it's incredible what these guys bring to our lives.
Yeah,
it's pure unconditional love. That's what's the neat thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, and then to me,
right there.
The other thing
he's gonna give you unconditional love.
The other thing, I felt this terrible guilt. I grew up Catholic too, so.
All right. I feel your pain, my friend.
I had this terrible guilt, like you feel like I could have done so much more. I could have loved you more. I could have hugged you more.
Yeah.
But I think she had a good life. She was happy,
But it makes you realize, too, to appreciate life and to live in every moment, because dogs' lives are shorter. Or all of us, we don't know. And just to appreciate and just go, oh, my gosh, okay. Yeah, that's why I take him wherever. He's a crazy
tell us about some
dude.
of the dogs you've had and some of the adventures they've taken you on, because our dogs have definitely taken us on adventures.
On our little adventures?
Yes.
I had Jeter, the little, God, he was what was he? He ended up with a girlfriend. But he was a great dog. He was a Chihuahua mixed with like a terrier, but he's like maybe a little bit of lab in him because he was like a stocky little dude.
Yeah.
So no, he was crazy. So he's one of those ones that would wake up at 4:30 in the morning and have to go outside. So I mean, I loved him for some reasons, but that wasn't one of them. And then he slept in bed with us.
Yeah. Okay.
So he had little spears, so he would sleep like that. So I learned with that. And so the dogs we have now, we kennel. With Charlotte, my girlfriend, she's a big, her and her daughter they know all the animals, they know all the breeds and things like that. So we're definitely in an animal house. Her daughter is going to school right now to be a zoologist. So yeah, inundated. But they're way more strict than I am because they kennel. They have 2 scoops of food. The dogs do all. And I was raised whenever we had dogs, we just throw some food to them, bologna. We had Becky who lived to be 17, and she was a rescue.
Wow.
She was the family dog. The dog we grew up with. And so Becky. It's all new. So this is a funny story. We went and got her at the pound. She had valley fever. Brought her to the vet, and we did not name her yet. So my mom's like, what's your name, to the secretary? And she's like, Becky. She goes, that's the name. We're like, Mom, we wanted to name the dog. And she's like, no, it's Becky. Just get in the car. And Becky turned out that she did great. 17 years old. And so my father is very Irish Catholic. So when she passed, she knew she was going to pass. The priest came over, read her last rites. The vet came over. We had a ceremony in the backyard. We planted a tree. Yeah, my dad could never get another dog after that. And this was obviously years ago. And so he would do no-kill shelters. So he started fostering dogs. So yeah, I'd go over to the house. We all moved out, and he would have like 10 different dogs on leashes and stuff. And yeah, he was part of the process of interviewing people that wanted dogs. But he was harsh. Yeah. He's a complete dog lover.
Oh, that's pretty
He left
awesome.
everything to his dogs. Yeah, no, it was crazy. That's where our passion comes from. They're part of the family.
Yeah.
He's probably been outside in the backyard by himself once. You know what I mean? So we're definitely dog.
Yeah, that's actually the complete opposite of my dad. My dad does not like dogs. And interesting story, my brother's dog, Jax, the one I was telling you, he's a big dog, but him and my dad had a stare off last time my dad went over to visit my brother, and apparently Jax jumped up on him, and my dad has Parkinson's, but we still make fun of him. We have no mercy on anybody in my family.
Humor heals.
And I guess he pushed him back, stumbled him a little bit. So we always make fun of my dad, say that he's got beef with Jax. But it is funny how they kind of know, because I was running down Glendale Avenue one morning, and this dog came out from the business. They have the guard dog. And the dog came out, and I looked back, and he's looking at me like he's thinking, should I chase him or should I? And he's like, okay. And then he went back in. I think he knew. He's like, nah, I think he's one of ours. But
he's good peeps.
Yeah, he's good. I think they do get some kind of vibe.
Oh my gosh. I think they know. We walk, there's an older couple, matter of fact. Well, we walk every morning, and we see these people, and they're not dog people. And Grayson will literally walk around their yard or poop in their yard. Yeah. It's funny. And the neighbors, they'll talk to us because they have dogs. And they're like, oh, they're not. And I'm like, they're not dog people. Yeah, he knows. He can
poops
sense.
In the yard.
Yeah, he's like, should I let him poop? And I'm like, I'm not going to clean it. Shame on them.
Yeah, that's funny.
They need to be dog people.
Yeah, I think, if people gave any animal, for that matter, a chance, you'd find out. But, sometimes you get a little closed off. You start thinking about, like, oh, I got to clean up after him. I got to feed him. He's going to make a mess. He's going to be, all the hair they leave and all. And sure, just like anything else that you are going to be responsible for, whether it be kids or a car or anything, there's some work involved. But what you get in return, I think, is far outweighs. So if anybody out there is listening to us and you do not have a dog, give yourself that chance, or any pet. Cat.
And it could be a bird. I don't know if you've ever hung around with birds before. I'm not a bird person. Love birds, but as they are. But man, those birds are smart, because I would go down this, like I said, the Arizona, the exotic bird rescue. And I'm telling you, these guys could reason with you. They're almost too smart.
Yeah. And where do they get these birds from?
All sorts. People surrender them. They get them from zoos. It's amazing. But yeah, they literally are in Tempe, and they personally must have about 150 birds, macaws, and like I said, cockatoos, lovebirds, and then they take the birds and heal them, and then they'll take them out like to the Perch, which is a restaurant bar, and they've got zoo quality caging that they put these birds in. It's amazing. And so they come and make sure the birds are okay. Yeah, it's incredible.
So are you able to adopt the birds too, or is just...
You can adopt the birds as well. Okay. Yeah.
Are there any breeds or types of birds that they're they're in danger, they're protected, or they're just not allowed to have?
I don't know much about birds, but it seemed like most of them were pretty rare birds. So I didn't see any like crazy birds where they go like a bald eagle.
Oh yeah.
Hey, even though at the Liberty Wildlife they have bald eagles up there. Okay. Yeah. Those things are big.
Yeah, they are. I saw one when I went up to Seattle. just flying. I was like, whoa.
It was like 4 feet. I was like, is this a real one? I thought it was a puppet. You know? I was put my finger in there like, Sean, that is not a puppet.
It'll bite your finger off. Yeah, I'd never seen one in person before, and they're pretty majestic.
Majestic, yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, they don't have any of those guys. But, yeah, I was just flabbergasted.
Now, have you had any stories about, you know, in your experience that you've seen since you've been around dogs a lot, that dog that, you know, was hopeless and he couldn't find he was maybe considered too aggressive, or he just was not a good dog, and you know, because I'll watch shows sometimes and you see they get that special case and they kind of bring him around. That's always.
I've seen a couple dogs. Like I said, when I do stuff with the rescues, I go in for a day or two, so I'm not bonded with the dogs as much than with the people, you know, doing the events. Yeah. But there was a dog that they had. I think he lost 2 or 3 times. He didn't find the right family, and he was a Ridgeback. I think his name is Cooper. So yeah, he went to a couple families, but again, people, they want a certain dog, but they don't realize what it takes to have that dog. Like we were talking about German Shepherds,
right?
You know, unless you're an active person, you probably shouldn't get a German Shepherd. You need to get somebody that's more of a couch potato dog,
right?
You know, like a Great Dane, I guess, is a great couch potato dog.
Yeah.
But this dog, this is a happy ending because he went to a couple places. I don't want to say he nipped, but I think he nipped at a couple of the kids, but the people said, you don't want to get, and they went, no, we want that dog. My son wants that dog. You know, they were like 5 and 9 or something like that. And they're like, he's just not built for that. So 2, 3, 4 times he went to these different families, and he ended up with the perfect guy, a grumpy old man. And I guess he drives around in a pickup truck, loves them. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like this, they were a perfect combination. So that's one story that I did follow. So it's Cooper, the Ridgeback, now has a home with this grumpy dude in an old pickup truck, and they just drive around, and I think he lives out in like Apache Junction or something. But he found the perfect home, but he had to go to 3, 4 different homes to find that, you know?
Yeah, and I tell people, you know, when they tell me, I want a specific dog, or I want, so of course sometimes when I hear people, and it drives me crazy, they say, I'm gonna go buy a puppy because I want a puppy. You know, they want to raise them from the time they're little, and or I want to give it to my child as a gift. And I always tell them, you know, dogs are not gifts; they're not toys for kids to play with.
Yeah.
But you know, I always tell them, don't just go down the shelter and the dog will pick you.
Yes.
You know, don't pick a dog, let the dog pick you.
That right there is a funny story. You just triggered something. Can I talk?
Yeah,
Are you okay?
Yes,
No,
yes,
I'm just kidding. No, because you asked that. So a friend of mine, really good friend of mine, she grew up with dogs. We've known each other for years and years and years, and we've gone through the process. She had older dogs, so we had put them to sleep, you know, because they had gotten older. So there was one dog she had, and she's like, I'm not getting any more dogs. Sean, don't let me get any more dogs. I don't want to get any more dogs. She's going to move to North Dakota. I don't want another dog. And so she went to the park by herself. She was running or walking or doing something. And a dog, pit bull, one-eyed pit bull, just must have had puppies because she looked like a mama dog, followed her home. And she was like, okay, I cannot have a dog. She put signs up, did everything you do to get rid of this dog. And the dog, she went and called somebody that they were going to come pick her up. She ran away. 2 days later, the dog is sitting on her doorstep.
Yeah.
Nobody called for her, so she ended up keeping her. But the dog found her. It was an amazing story, Helena. And now she's up in North Dakota chasing chickens. So now it's like, and she's got this one eye, and she looks at you with the good eye. And but right there is like the epitome of this dog's going to find you, you know. You're not finding it. And Cammie, my friend, will be like, what am I going to do? I'm like, you're going to keep the dog. And she won't part with the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Literally found her.
Found her. She went and got a new car because she couldn't hold the dog. She's a big 75-pound dog. So to drive up to North Dakota, she got a car, and she literally took measurements of the cage and of Helena because she's not even for the car. We went to look for a car, and the lady's like, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm measuring for my dog. It was great. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
That's cool.
It becomes that, you know, a lot of times where your life revolves now around them, you know, before, because I have 3 kids. My wife has a daughter. And everything, you know, it's the house for the kids, the yards for the kids, and now it's like for the dogs.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's for the dogs. So
yeah, they build stuff. You watch tiny homes? You watch those tiny homes and things? But it's funny, too, because a lot of those people are like, got to fit the dog. We got to have that, you know, and they make little things for the dog. I'm like, oh, my God, this is great. I love those little tiny homes. But yeah.
Yeah, and we've actually envisioned ourselves like that with that. Well, we could have a tiny house for us and then one for them, and maybe have some kind of way to where it connects. So that, you know, they could
like a little tunnel.
Yeah. That'd be kind of cool. So Yeah, but when we come back from the commercial break, we'll talk a little bit more about tiny houses because we do love tiny houses.
Tiny houses.
No te muevas, más información con los expertos en Animal Voices Radio. Regresamos.
¿Sabías que es posible disfrutar deliciosa comida mexicana sin ingredientes de origen animal? Mi vegana madre. Rico, sabroso, auténtico, sin producto animal y con el sabor de México. ¿Te gustaría probar nuestros platillos veganos? Entonces visita nuestras redes sociales en Instagram, Facebook y en miveganamadre.com para información de los lugares en que estaremos próximamente. Mi vegana madre, promoviendo la compasión y cultura a través de la comida y la protección del medio ambiente.
24 horas. Lo mejor de la radio en internet. Entre Mujeres Radio.
Hola, yo soy Blanca de Olarte.
Yo soy Eva González.
Mi esencia es expresarme a través de los colores y las imágenes.
Mi esencia es el amor.
Así que te invitamos a escuchar nuestro nuevo programa Esencias.
Todos los jueves a las 7 de la noche.
Por entremujeresradio.net. Esencias.
¿Qué pasa, Rocco? Ya sé, quieres ir al lugar y pet salón a que te den un buen baño, corte de pelo y jugar con tus amiguitos. Me parece buena idea. Me gusta que ahí puedo aprender a cómo cuidar del pelo y el excelente servicio al cliente. Lugar y Pet Salón, cortando el pelo de tu mascota desde 1998. 7901 East Thomas Road, Suite 105, Scottsdale, Arizona. Teléfono 480-636-7087. 480-636-7087. Lugar y Pet Salón.
Gracias por seguir en conexión. Estás escuchando Animal Voices Radio. Para la oreja, más información en este segmento.
All right, we're back, and during the commercials, Sean and I were talking a little bit about one of the projects he has going, which is the Phoenix Dog Magazine, and it's actually a friend of ours, Kathy, who is the editor of the magazine, but Sean has been little by little becoming more and more involved in it. So tell us about your involvement in it and what you're doing for the Phoenix Dog.
Yeah, no, what I'm doing now is everything that I love to do for companies. It's just my goal, the epitome of what I want to do. So I met Kathy about 2 years ago at the Pet Expo, and she had just started the magazine, and she's like, I'm doing this and this. And I'm like, oh, I know a little bit about, the journalism side and then the promotional side. So I've been doing cartoon illustrations for her for the last couple of years. And then slowly her and I have been talking like, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? So just recently I said, let's partner up. Hoylarious Studios, you'll be my client per se, but we're going to be partners. So now I redesigned their the masthead, the logos. We're redoing her website, events and things like that. We're doing an art show, cat and dog art show coming up in November, which will be fun. I'm trying to find a location for it. Okay. But they're going to be sponsoring along with myself. But yeah, doing all sorts of crazy, wacky stuff.
Tell us about that event. I mean, if people want to go, how can they find out?
They can find out currently. Just go to phoenixdog.net. We'll have it up there. It's a work in progress currently. I've got a couple sponsors. And it's going to be about 4 or 5 different artists around the valley that just paint cat and dog art. So it'll be fun. But it'll be a studio gallery setting. It's not going to be tables and things like that. Maybe a little bottle of wine for maybe some cheese, some dog snacks. You can bring your dog and cat.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All those dogs.
So I'll have some of my artwork as well. I do a lot of prints and painting. I do that on canvas.
And you're saying you do some of the drawings there I saw on the inside? You can hold it up here to the camera and they can see it.
I do the illustrations for her. So I just donated my time and energy, and then we said, hey, let's start, making you part of the magazine. So, and this is okay. So this is a good example of what I do for the, people can see that. Now, I did this for the Arizona Humane Society, this one here for cats. They had called me and said, we're having a cat problem in the valley, but we want to tell people through cartoons. And so you're not supposed to, if you find a litter of kittens, you're not supposed to touch them if the mom's not there for 8 hours, because the mom might be out there looking for food. So it was a prevalent problem. So Arizona Humane Society is in conjunction with Kathy, so they printed that in the magazine. So they shared a lot of Hoylarious stuff. Multi-use.
Yeah, this is actually kind of cool. I didn't even know that about, I think maybe people's first instinct, if they see a litter, they're like, oh, let's go help them out. But the thing to do is just leave them alone, huh?
Yeah, they get calls all the time. I was surprised as well. And so, but they did it in writing and people just wouldn't get it. They said this is much more effective and this is a good reason for where drawing comes in handy, where people look at it and go, oh, look at the cute kitty, what is this? And they want to read it.
They want to read it.
And then you see the 8 hours, you're like, okay.
Uh-huh.
Because that is our instinct, is to take kittens to, the Humane Society.
Do you write any of the articles in here?
Not yet. I'm working on it, my friend. I do like to write, but just more of the illustrations.
Uh-huh. And where do you draw your inspiration from, like as far as what you draw?
God, it could be anything. I get ideas that just hit me all of a sudden. But like that's a good example. She'll send me over the article itself, and then I'll come up with, this was, I think, obese dogs and cats, and how they get lethargic or something. That's the wellness section. But yeah, that magazine's great. They've got a celebrity section, so it's Valley celebrities that with their dogs. It's so much fun.
Have you gotten to meet any celebrities? Anybody?
All sorts of different celebrities.
I'm just all fascinated now with the I've seen it before. Here's the one we're looking at.
The little
for how to stop dog aggression, and we actually learned a few things from you, which is interesting.
I love the clown there.
Yeah,
dogs are even afraid of clowns.
They are.
Some are.
Well, I can understand why.
That could be a whole radio show right there for you.
Even just, is your dog bored or spoiled? Sometimes we do love our dogs a little too much, and we can't spoil them.
Yeah.
Or even like you mentioned, dog obesity. It seems like it's kind of silly, but their health does suffer because of it.
Yeah. No, and people don't realize that. Like when we were growing up, our dog was. Now that I think about it and know, Becky the dog, the lab, was obese. She was fat, and I never realized until now. It's like, and then with Grayson, he's got not a weight problem, but he could gain. He's got the propensity to gain. Now his sister, who is a pit bull boxer, blind, she's thin. She's got the boxer body, and they eat the same amount, but she burns it quickly. He will walk and run and play, and then he's out. You know what I mean? He's just like a linebacker. So I have to watch. I try not to feed him too many snacks because we're pretty much regimented. But you don't realize that dogs can just like.
Yeah, and we saw that with our older dog, and just some of the health problems, and we didn't know any better when we first got him. He was the first dog that I ever really had, and we thought, he wants some of our food, and you give it to him, and then later on you realize what kind of damage you're doing to him.
Yeah.
So people out there, don't feed your dogs people food.
Chocolate's big. Raisins.
Yes.
Grapes. Yeah, all these things that we must have fed little Becky, and she's now. My friend Cammie was talking about Helena, the one-eyed pit bull. Cammie's a teacher, so she'd leave, and then she'd come home, and that dog she tore into M&M, everything. Like, she'd ate a lot of chocolates. I mean, this is not atypical. Normally, dogs would get sick, and she had an iron stomach. This dog, because she's a street dog probably, but man, this dog could eat, and she definitely, bless her heart, she gained.
And that's another interesting about, some of the rescue dogs and the street dogs. Every dog we've had ever since are street dogs that we found. They were not even from the shelter. We found them off the street. Oh, really?
They just, like you said, they found you.
Yeah, literally. So how they react to noise and things like that, thunder, like our, dogs that are from the street, they just, thunder and lightning, they're just asleep. But the dog that we've had since he was a puppy, he gets real scared. So this is our last segment, Sean. So if anything, you want a website, phone number, something you want to promote, events you got coming up, or things you're going to be hosting to help more animals and more dogs.
Hosting all sorts of stuff. We did September 21st. I'm over at as Larry Liberty at Liberty Wildlife. I think it's open to the public from 4 to 7. You have to look it up. I don't know the exact address. We're doing
Do you do an accent for him? Do you do an accent for Larry?
I do Larry. I was thinking about doing, the crikey, right? And my girlfriend hates that. She's like, you don't sound Australian. And I'm like, whatever. So Larry will probably be like a good old Southern boy. Come on down here. And he doesn't know much.
Maybe like a guy
much
from Florida.
To get away with from Florida. Gator country.
Wrestles gators.
Wrestles. I got one t-shirt, my sister. Other than that, Hoylarious.com. You can go and see what I do. Like I said, I do 2 or 3 things well. Everything else, I'm like okay at. But I'm a humorist, so I write different copywriting and humor for people. I do it for radio stations, businesses, and then I'm a speaker. Do a lot of speaking, public speaking, improv. I'm having an improv comedy class this Saturday from 11 to 12:30 at the Pyle Center in Tempe.
Okay.
But you have to go to Hoylarious.com.
Yes, it's HOY Larious. So Hoylarious, and hashtag on Instagram, Hoylarious Studio, so you can look him up on Instagram.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff.
Do you have lots of pictures of your dogs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I got pictures of other people's dogs.
If you go.
I just took a picture of Einstein, the dog. I think I just posted him. I just met him at the the Humane Society telethon.
What's his story? Einstein?
Okay. This is funny. I don't know how much time we have because it's a very short story.
Oh,
so
okay.
I call all dogs Sparky until I know them. And there was a guy walking around, and he had rescued him, and I don't know why he was there. I guess just to show Einstein off. He's a basset hound. And so I said, "Oh, hey, Sparky." And the guy goes, "No, his name's Einstein." And these little girls came up, and they're like, "Hey, sit, Einstein, sit." And it just was so funny because the dog would not sit. He wouldn't listen. But it would just sound funny. It's like, he's Einstein, but he won't sit. I got to kick it. Right there. Okay, right there is a cartoon idea. So you're asking how the ideas come. So I'll churn that in my brain, and like tomorrow morning I'll wake up and go, okay, how can I figure that out? But it's just funny because the dog would look at him like, I'm not the real Einstein. I don't know what you mean.
So are there certain breeds or dogs that are easier to make into caricatures just because they have that funny kind of...
That's, you know what I do is...
5 minutes.
Oh, I was like,
5 minutes sign. Yeah.
He's like,
yeah, high five.
Sean, there's 5. I'm loving what you're doing, brother. Here's what with my thing with drawing, I like if people have specific dogs. What I do notice with rescues is if like they're German Shepherd people, they're German Shepherd people. Sometimes you can't like go, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like they really get breed specific. So when I draw stuff, like when I was talking about the logo and even the little cartoon here I try not to draw a real breed dog. So most of my dogs are kind of mixes, because then you can, they're not like, oh, it's a dachshund.
Right.
You know, somebody's against dachshunds, they're not going to look at you. But so I just kind of, I put like a pointy ears. My dogs, every dog I draw usually is different or has some similarity.
Yeah. Like even this one here, he's just laughing and he's just a chubby dog.
Yeah, he's like, that was from the Hoylarious show, the Hoylarious show. So that's his little mic, and he's like, hey, I don't care. So Kathy and I are working on a logo for the Phoenix Dog magazine, so I'm drawing up a kind of an abstract little dog for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna show this one on the back with the horse that I could not ride in Yosemite because I was too big.
Really? So that did happen?
Yeah, no, I was much bigger. Most of my life I've been kind of a big guy, but at that point I was too big for the horses, and they're big horses too.
How did they? How did they say that to you? Did they just say, "Hey, no"?
Well, they asked. They have the list of requirements, and they asked me how much I weighed, and of course I lied, and then they made me get on the scale.
Oh wow, they have a scale there.
Yes, they have like one of those big scales to like I don't know,
like
weigh
a truck stop one,
bales of hay or something. Yeah,
really?
Yeah. They made me get on that. I guess they knew I was lying.
Was it embarrassing, or did you laugh like, hey?
It was more sad than anything, I guess. But I mean, it's funny now. I get it, but
all the horses just go. Whew.
Yeah, they're like, oh, thank God.
You would have had that guy.
I imagine they probably had like a meeting or something about all the horses got together and said, hey, we need a weight limit because these trails are rough. But looking back on it now, I'm glad I did not ride those poor horses.
Yeah, they would have been in the.
Yeah.
But then did you say that hit you and you were like, okay, I'm gonna.
Oh no!
Lose a little. No.
I was still, you're at that age where I felt like I'm fine. I'll be all right. I was in my early 20s, mid 20s maybe. So you still have that feeling of you're gonna live forever.
You're invincible.
Yes.
And you realize I'm not invincible, huh?
Yeah, and actually, now it's turning about me and my weight loss, so we won't go.
Yeah, let's turn around. You're like, Sean, let's turn around. Back to the dogs, ladies and gentlemen.
You get to sit on the VIP mic.
You need a couch in here.
That would be kind of cool, but Grayson is a beautiful dog. Of course, I love him right away.
Yeah,
and I'm sure he loved me. He seemed to really give me lots of kisses. So
it's talking about a bear like breaking ice. He's great at doing that. And he's sincere about it too.
Do you take him? I'm like, don't worry, we're gonna wrap it up. But he's it's a 2-minute sign. But do you take him when you do the shows and stuff like that, and when you take him to the
sometimes if I can. Sometimes the shelters normally not because he's not a shelter dog. You know what I mean? He's not one of them.
Right.
But then if I'm hosting an event, it's hard to know where he's at unless I go somebody's like minding him, as you can see.
Yes.
So when if I'm walking around doing stuff. Promotional stuff, I'll bring him. Like the Phoenix Dog magazine is perfect because it makes sense. Other times I don't. bring him. But then I bring him if I go to Home Depot or the iPhone. You can literally go online and see there's like 155 stores in the valley that you can bring, like chain stores. Kohl's, you can bring dogs.
Oh, okay.
It's incredible how many places you can bring dogs
That's
to.
pretty awesome. I didn't know. So Google it if you want to start taking your dog everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Sean, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. We could probably talk for another few hours.
Yeah.
But, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate the work that you do for the animals. Of course, we love all animals, and anytime anybody's helping them, we are on board. So thank you so much. Any last words? Any goodbyes to anybody?
No, I just thank everybody for listening, and go hug your pet, man.
All right.
Heck, hug your spouse. I don't care. Hug your neighbor's spouse.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you.
Esto fue Animal Voices Radio, con pasión, cultura, sustentabilidad, amor y respeto por la vida animal. Te esperamos en nuestra siguiente emisión aquí por entremujeresradio.net.